Dude, what's going on, people? It's your man, the White Bee, once again. So, bash! We got an update for the masses, the great unwashed, right now, regarding Tyson Fury. Listen, Fury don't always get it right, but he got this one right. Tyson Fury has given you, man, the facts about the light-skinned prophet Moses Itauma. Enrico Moses Itauma, the fourth and fifth dimensional entity, aka the Lord Marshal from the Chronicles of Riddick, man. Okay, let's get straight to it. From the Hippo King, here we go. Yeah? Bosh.
I keep getting asked about young Moses Itauma fighting Alexander Usyk and fighting other big names. And my opinion is not someone who don't know boxing. My opinion is someone who has been there and won every single belt, won everything there is to win in boxing, and done very well. Boxing is a young man's game. Like I told Vladimir Klitschko when he was 37, boxing's a young man's game and he waits for nobody. So here's the opinion, you've heard it here first. Moses Itauma will wreck all them old men out of the division. Usyk, AJ, Miller, whoever there is who's old, Zhang, fucking whoever else there is, Luis Ortiz, all these big names of the past are all a spent force. And even the world champion now, if they took my belts and give them to Usyk, Moses will wreck him. Because he's a young man versus an old man. An old man can't mess with young men.
Okay then, we heard there from the Hippo King. And listen, you can argue, well, Fury's only saying this because he's lost to Usyk, and hence, listen, if AJ was going to fight Usyk again, he wouldn't say, yeah, AJ's going to do him. I think it's easier though when you've got someone coming up in the new generation. It's easier to be their fan. We've seen Fury fanning for Jared Anderson before. We've seen him fanning for even Moses. He posted pictures of him saying he's up next. Both of them two cats. Obviously, Jared Anderson got weighed in. But still, I'm trying to think. I guess that... I don't remember. This is, again, a better example, actually, thinking about it now. Dubois, 2 months ago, you had Shane Fury come out and say, oh, I wouldn't want to see Tyson in there with Dubois. Oh, he's too young, he's too big. But you never heard, I don't remember Tyson Fury coming out and saying, I could be wrong. In fact, let's search it now. Yeah? Tyson Fury says Daniel Dubois beats Usyk. I remember Fury saying he's a big, strong, young guy, and it was more like, yeah, no. Okay, that was after the fight. There's nothing coming up here. I remember Fury saying, Dubois is a big, strong guy and hopefully he can do it. He never come out and said, Dubois will wreck Usyk. And I'd agree with that. Listen, I got it wrong. Well, I got it wrong. I got it wrong. My hands are in the air. But I could see how he didn't wreck him. Because at the time, if you remember correctly, I was sucking off Maximus Agitius Caballerius. I was saying he's the one who's most likely to do him harm. And I still believe that. I believe Moses and Maximus Agitius Caballerius, them two, the light-skinned prophet and Caballel, those are the two who have a chance to beat Usyk. I'm not sure where I sit exactly. If Itauma knocks out Hrgovic, then I'm going with... I'd put Itauma as the number one chance. But so far, I think Itauma's got more of an X factor than Caballel. That speed is something else. But I know Caballel, he's proven himself. His gas tank looks pretty good. His output looks pretty good. He can pressure fight with intelligence. So yeah, anyway, that's not the point. The point is, you can sit there and say, oh, Fury's just gagging for someone to beat Usyk. Well, if that was the case, he'd have picked Dubois to weigh Usyk in. If it was just about picking a young Brit, anyone who has a go in it, Fury said himself, he knows boxing. Yeah? Itauma will wreck Usyk. He's way too young and he's not stiff. I mean, there are some technical holes. And the only question is the cardio. If we saw him get some rounds, let's say he gets in there with, I think Parker would give him rounds. Let's say he gets in there with Parker. Parker's got some speed, got a little bit of power, a little bit of footwork. If Itauma goes in there, does 7 rounds and he's in full control and then boshes Parker out in the second half of the fight, at that point, it's undeniable the ungodly things the light-skinned prophet would do to Usyk at that point. That's the only question we got. Would I come out right now and tell you? I'll be honest, I would come out and tell you Itauma will do Usyk serious harm, but that's more to do with me being a Moses Itauma homosexual, if I'm honest. That is a hype situation. We don't have the evidence for it, that's the bottom line. Yeah, now, if that fight gets announced, the light-skinned prophet versus... Very nice, I like it. Yeah, you best believe I'm putting a one on Itauma by KO, honestly. I think he KOs him. That's where my money's going. Yeah, but you know what, I'm like, I backed Fury on the same kind of narrative. I'm going with my heart, so that don't mean nothing as such. But the speed, Usyk, what was the last fight people talk about? Oh, he fought a fast cruiserweight. What fast cruiserweight? Usyk was having nightmares with Tony Bellew. B-level Bellew, man. Tony Bellew's not an A-level fighter. Okay, he's not in the A-level ranks. Tony Bellew is a B-level fighter. I'd say AJ is a B-level fighter. I'd say Fury is a B-level fighter as well, if I'm honest. A-level fighters, they don't come around all the time. Being a world champion or even unified, in my opinion, doesn't mean you're an A-level. I'd put Usyk as an A-level fighter, as a function of the fact that he's beat a bunch of B-levels. Yeah? But you have to stand out as an A-level, you have to have beat a bunch of B-levels. Well, who did AJ beat? Povetkin, he was C-level. Dillian Whyte had to go on Povetkin, man. Come on now, people. Dillian Whyte had to go on Povetkin. Come on, man. Pulev. Vlad knocked him out of a left hook 10 times in a row. Come on, man, not Pulev. Who else we got? Andy Ruiz. You went life and death with Andy Ruiz. And you got punched up the first time. Who else you got? What you got on there? Okay, you beat Vlad. A washed up. Again, I'm not even sure Vlad's an A-level. You probably have to... In his time, I don't know, is Vlad an A-level? Again, I think he's probably a B-level. Yeah? Vlad fought B-levels twice in his career, in my opinion. Forgetting the old school man who weighed him in. Vladimir Klitschko fought 2 B-level cats in Fury and AJ. There's no one else on Vladimir Klitschko's resume. Sorry. There's no one else on there who's B-level. He fought 2 B-levels and he lost to both of them. So Vlad is at best to B. He's probably a C-level, honestly. That's the bottom line. He was in the weakest era of all time. What was my point there? Usyk hasn't never fought no one with A-level skills. Itauma doesn't have an A-level certified record yet. We just blew Dillian Whyte out in half a round. End of the day. Who's done that before? AJ went life and death with Dillian Whyte. Okay, Dillian Whyte was younger. Dillian Whyte is, no matter what you say about his age, he's not 58. We saw George Foreman in there at 48, and he had a proper hard career. People say Dillian had a hard career, yeah. It wasn't no harder than George Foreman's. George Foreman was 48, okay? Now, people can... There's genetic variation, so the fact George Foreman, obviously, he's a legend, an A-star fighter. So, the fact he was able to do it doesn't necessarily mean the fact Dillian Whyte's 37 means he wasn't shot. I don't think he was that shot, honestly. I saw him in there. He's slow, but we knew that. It's not so much he was slow. Yeah? I don't think. People are saying, oh, he looked really slow. Yeah, but I think you're going to find a lot of people are going to look slow in the first 6 rounds of Moses Itauma. Dillian Whyte, actually, if you compared it, it's a shame we can't really measure it somehow, but if you compare Dillian's double jab to his other fights, I think you'd find he's probably as quick, if not quicker, honestly, in that fight. He looked super slow because Itauma was just sliding out and making Dillian look slow. But if you put someone like, I don't know, if you'd put AJ in there or anyone else, I think you'd have found, or Joseph Parker, which we've seen that fight, Dillian didn't look particularly slow against Parker, right? That's the point I'm making. The fact that Itauma looks really quick, everyone thinks he's shot. Dillian wasn't showing me shot skills. He's got a bit of head movement there. He did start, Dean Itauma pointed this out, Dillian Whyte's ex-brother. Dillian was rolling too early. You don't want to, I don't know what, you want to keep your eyes on your target. In my opinion, keep your hands up in the first few rounds and just be straight up and down. all that rolling business, too early on to be not having your eyes on the game when someone's red hot quick, like Itauma is. I want to see what's coming at me right at you. I don't want to be looking at the floor and bending down too low, and you're losing split seconds there of what's going on in the fight. But anyway, that's not the point, man. We're going a long way around town, shockingly enough, but the fact of the matter is, this would be the first time in Usyk's career, in cruiserweight or heavyweight, fighting Moses Itauma would be the first time he fights someone with one or multiple sublime skills. I look at Usyk's cruiserweight resume. Again, Tony Bellew. He's a B-level fighter. He doesn't have any 90 plus FIFA stats. Tony Bellew's like a 75 average type fighter. That makes sense. If you were to rank all of his skills, you wouldn't tell me, oh, Tony Bellew's got a 95 out of 100 rating. In what? No, he's like 75, maybe an 80 here or there. Itauma has 90 plus speed, 90 plus space-time shifting. Yeah? That Lord Cat, I just mentioned him at the start of the video, from the Chronicles of Riddick, man. Lord Marshall. He shifts in and out of time, in and out of three-dimensional space-time. Yeah? He's 90 plus in that. I don't know, man. People talk about Inoue's 120 pounds. Yeah, I don't see him shifting like that. I don't see him like he's in there. He does a little bit, but he's 120 pounds is the point I'm making. It's Inoue might be able to have a bit of that, but even Itauma's 250 pounds. It's like, he moves like he's 125 pound. The way he cuts in and then he slaps you in the mouth and you've just looked up and he's back out and then you blink and he's hit you again and he's back. Come on, man. Usyk's renowned for having good feet, okay? Who's the last guy who fought with good feet? What clown was I listening to? I was listening to some clown and they said, yeah, he's got good... That was it. Was it Hatman or was it G-Man? G-Man or someone was saying, yeah, Dubois got good feet. Dubois got fast feet. I swear down, one of them two. I was listening today when I was at the gym, working out. One of them two said Dubois has good feet. Dubois got the stiffest feet I've ever seen. No good feet at all. Dubois has not got good feet. Sorry. There's nothing surprising about Dubois' feet. Yeah? He hops around, but it don't do nothing for him. He bounces. He's not got quick feet at all. Dubois got like 60 out of 100 feet. Itauma was 90 plus in the feet department. Plus, just given his age, being 20, he's 90 plus in the age and ambition. And we've talked about this, particularly in critique of the likes of AJ, Fury, and we've heralded people like Chisora. The big factor why I was glazing Minimus Duquitius, Jus Lessius, No Goodius, Dubois, Stiffius. Someone put that in the comments, man. Minimus Duquitius, No Goodius, Jus Lessius, Stiffius, Dubois. Yeah. We was going on, oh look, Chisora, he's sea level, but you got a younger, more power in his hands, Dubois. What we didn't factor in though was that Dubois don't have... Chisora has some old school skills in as much as he's not fully old school. You won't really see Chisora on toe to toe rocking and rolling. He'll brawl at you, but he can brawl and he kind of ungainly, he'll roll and he'll sway and he'll bowl shots over. So I'd call him half old school. He's not toe to toe, just rocking and rolling in there like Holyfield versus Cooper. But he's got half of the. Chisora is the closest thing we've got to old school comfortability in the ring. He don't cack himself under fire. Particularly not in this second phase of his career. He don't tend to cack himself, and he can rock and roll and. He's not stupid. He has some old school IQ where he can rock and roll and catch a shot and swing a shot. Dubois has zero of that. And he has zero real heart as well. So the factors we were banking on, Dubois is younger and he'll have a go and he's got more power. Well, that's no good. You can have all the power you want. But if you ain't got the skills to rock and roll or you ain't got the heart to have a go like Chisora did, it's no good. So I've given you that paradigm of Fury AJ. They've already had their careers. They weren't really that hard. Yeah, they weren't even semi-long to get in the ring with Usyk. It was like, oh, whatever. AJ's been double unified champion, and Usyk wasn't really the fight he wanted. He wanted Fury or Wilder. It's like, alright, we'll take our mandatory so we don't have to drop a belt. Yeah. It was like, you know what I mean? Whereas Itauma, he's got an opportunity now to upstage. Nothing beats it. Mike Tyson talked about this. A young, happy fighter. You get jaded. Look at Fury, he's jaded. You get jaded as you get older. Especially when you've achieved things in your past. When you've achieved nothing, that's when you're hungry. Facts. Now, some good athletes, Usyk included, they can maintain their hunger for whatever reasons they choose to do so. But the average athlete, as they get older, Fury, AJ, they come off the boil for whatever reason. Yeah. AJ was his loss to Ruiz. He come off the boil and he's never been the same since. None of these things are true for Itauma. That doesn't mean Usyk couldn't beat him. But Itauma's going to go in there, yeah. Look at AJ when he was that Vlad fight, for example. When you're on the way up, yeah, you throw your hands like you mean to. Because AJ ain't worth 300 million. He's never been world champion. That was his time to show up. I think he had a belt, actually. I think he beat Charles Martin, actually. But you get the point. His first big fight. And that fight arguably broke him. AJ said after that fight, oh, I don't want to get hit no more. So that finished him. Yeah? Now, it's possible. Not my base case, but it's possible Usyk could do a proper job on Moses and it breaks him. But if he doesn't, if Moses goes in there, yeah, super quick and clips Usyk on the guard or around the back of his head, yeah, and Usyk's on skates, and Itauma does what he does best, who cares? Yeah? The point is, being young and hungry and throwing your hands with bad intentions is worth something. Plus you factor in the skills he has and the speed he has. Yeah? And the fight, this will be the first time Usyk fights a young, fast, gifted heavyweight. Name me one. Or cruiserweight. I wouldn't say any of the cruiserweights. All the cruiserweights Usyk beat, none of them would be in the test of time. None of them even have any skills, in my opinion. I wouldn't look at any of the cruiserweights on his... Let's have a get at it right now. Yeah? Let's do it right now for the masses. And this isn't knocking them, man. They've done more better than me in my life. If you look at the Gassievs and Bradis or whatever. But objectively, in my opinion, I don't look at them and think, yeah, these guys are in the cruiserweight all-time stakes. And even someone like David Haye, I watched David Haye versus Carl Thompson. I think I played it on this video. But Haye, I mean, even him, he's quite crude, really, Haye. Very quick, yeah, but I wasn't that impressed with him. If you watched the Valiev fight back, everyone was sucking him off for that. Oh, he beat the big Valiev. A lot of it was Haye just standing there. Yeah? It wasn't Haye getting in and swinging his hands hard. He was kind of faffing off with Valiev. He did a bit more than Valiev did, but it wasn't like they make out he was. Haye was serious hype, and he shit himself with Vlad, that sums it up. So even someone like Haye, who had natural gifted abilities, he didn't really believe it like that. Haye didn't. He had a good mouth on him, and that was it. He wasn't actually letting his hands go. Itauma was letting his hands go. Yeah, and albeit Itauma hasn't fought, Usyk would be like the Vlad fight. But do you think Itauma was going to go in there, yeah, and not throw his hands? It's possible, but I don't get David Haye vibes from Itauma. I think he'll believe. Now, listen, after 6 rounds, if he starts puffing, that'll be a different story. But I believe he goes in there and his hands will be going for at least 4 rounds. Yeah. And God forbid he has any success. Because if he can have some success in the first 4, that'll kind of... A bit like AJ in the Vlad fight. Who put who down first? I think AJ put Vlad down first and he started puffing. But that's what I'm saying. Once you have a bit of success, as long as your name ain't Daniel Dubois and you jack, normally it keeps you in the fight because you know I can hurt him, so I'll carry on. Now, if Usyk wins the first 4 rounds, taking the piss, but I can't see that, man. Usyk didn't win the first 4 rounds, or Usyk was going life and death with Fury in the first 6. In both fights, they're like 4-2, 3-3. There's nothing in them rounds. All them fights, AJ 2, Fury 1. Not so much Fury 1 because Usyk hit him, but you get the point. A lot of them rounds are like give or take. They're not, whoa, he's smoking him type rounds. Usyk's competing with B-level fighters. He's not blowing them away. And I'm not talking about knockouts, but he's not like, oh, he fucking hell. He boxed him up and down. Usyk's going life and death with these B-level stiff bums from Britain. Yeah? Who are finished. They've been finished. Fury went life and death with Mbonga. Oh, he wasn't training or whatever. You've always got some excuse. Fury went life and death with Mbonga. Yeah, okay. That same Fury, a year later, a year more of being shot, gets in there with Usyk, and Usyk, okay, he won the fights, yeah, but he wasn't like, whoa, fair play, the Dubois rematch. That's where you'd say, okay, he showed a level there. But how good's Dubois? I don't know. I don't think he's very good. But let's have a quick look at this, just for argument's sake. Let's have a look through this. Come on, man. Look, this is Usyk's cruiserweight resume since he's been world champion. He fought Glowacki, okay, in 2016 and went 12 rounds with him. Lawrence Okolie, 3 years later, knocked him out in 7. Okay, Glowacki, he's probably a C minus fighter. Who else you got here? Michael Hunter. Again, how good's Hunter? I don't know. He's alright. No one's going to be singing about him, are they? In the history books. Marco Huck. Whatever. Bradis, again, solid guy. B minus fighter, historically speaking. Oh, you're hating my bit. I like Bradis. I think he beat Jarpa Stinker in the rematch, honestly. That said, you can't tell me what skill. If you were to break skills down, power, speed, IQ, footwork, what tell me the skill Bradis has that's 90 plus, that would stand the test of time. With Itauma right now, I don't give up what no one says. Itauma might have no chin, Itauma might have no gas, but what we know for a fact right now is Itauma is the quickest heavyweight I've seen. And even if you don't believe he's the quickest, he's certainly the top 10 quickest of all time. That's the point I'm making. So that puts him in the 90 plus rating. He already has an all-time Hall of Fame characteristic. His speed. Now, we'll have to find out how it works out in his career, but he is lightning quick. I'm talking Roy Jones. Again, Roy Jones was a 160 pounder. Roy Jones wasn't that quick when he was a heavyweight. A heavyweight, I've never seen nothing like it, man. I've never been confused about what's going on in a heavyweight fight. I've never had to watch it back. I didn't even know. I said to him, I was watching the fight live with Dillian Whyte. I said to Michelle, what happened? I was watching it. I said, what happened there? What the fuck? That's why a lot of the Itauma fights, I thought they were fake. So he hops in, and the guy's on the floor. I thought, what? And then when you have to watch it back in frame by frame, you see the shots landing. I've never watched a heavyweight fight like that before. Just haven't. Never been bamboozled at what's going on. It happened so fast. He's out, he's in, he's out. The guy's on the floor. You see what I mean? You got Gassiev here. Gassiev straight up and down. Okay, again, B minus fighter, probably maybe even a C fighter. Then you got Tony Bellew, B fighter. Okay, there's no A fighters there at cruiserweight, and none of them have any A level skills either. Then you got Chisora in heavyweight, C fighter. AJ, B fighter. And what B fighter means is, an A fighter is someone you'd consider who could fight and compete at the top of any era. I think Usyk would win some fights and would lose some fights in any era. Hence why he's an A fighter. I'm not on this bandwagon that no one would ever beat him. He'd lose quite a few fights, if I'm honest. Yeah, old school fight. He'd lose most of them, if I'm honest. But he'd win some too. He'd probably win 2 or 3 out of 10. AJ and Fury would win none out of 10. They'd lose them all by knockout. Because they get it stuck on them. AJ and Fury would lose to someone like Burt Cooper, man. AJ definitely would. Fury might be able to faff around. But AJ would lose to Burt Cooper. He'd get knocked out by Burt Cooper. Burt Cooper on the night he fought Evander Holyfield would knock AJ out. Flat. Cold. That's the truth. Or someone like Ray Mercer. Ray Mercer would knock AJ out cold. Even Tommy Morrison would knock AJ out cold. Flat cold. No discussions. And Ray Mercer, in my opinion, he might punch Usyk up as well, if I'm honest. Just too ferocious. There's no way Ray Mercer's going to be sitting there shitting himself from what Usyk's doing, which is what happens with these new age heavyweights. Sorry, don't believe it. They're not going to be... I've seen them, the shots them kind of man were taking. There's no way they're like, oh, you know, when Dubois gets hit by Usyk, he's like, it looks like he's been hit with a rocket. Yeah. Same as a lot of these man. AJ was the same. These man get hit by Usyk and they look like, oh! Yeah? And I'm telling you, Usyk can't punch. Okay? Because look at Chisora, that's the point I'm making. Chisora's half old school and he didn't really respect it. So that's how I know. You take Chisora, you times him by 10, you put the real old school in there, who really was rocking and rolling toe to toe, or Ike Ibuchi, David Tua, you put one of them in there with him, and we'll see what happens then. Yeah, Usyk could be winning some of these and losing some of these, is my point. The rest of these, man, Fury went life and death with Wild, didn't he, though? The only fit, Dillian, yeah, this is the thing though. I'm giving Fury credit. Oh, Fury would be able to beat some of these man by keeping it long, because he beat Chisora. That's what gives me that, because Chisora's coming forward. But I don't think Chisora has the intensity that some of these old school pressure fighters had. I'd be very shocked. People like Dillian Whyte was happy kind of when he fought Fury. He was happy to sit in there and getting boxed up a little bit. Chisora as well. He's trying to kind of come forward, but you know what I mean? It's not quite there. It's not quite there for me. Although you've seen David Tua when he fought Lennox, that fight stunk, but Lennox was doing a lot of clinching. So if Fury got his clinch game down, he probably could pull off some of them wins there. But someone like AJ, he'd have to fight like, yeah, but look at Ruiz had no ambition in that rematch, did he? I think if you put an old school man coming at AJ, I think he's going to be in trouble, honestly, if he doesn't hit him and put him out. But I've seen them man get hit, and they didn't get put out loads of times like that. So, yeah, they're B level, man. Fury might be B+. AJ at his best, yeah, they're both Bs at their best. I can't say they're As, if I'm honest. I can't do it. I can't put them at that level. But if the definition is though that they'd win some, would Fury win some? Did Sammy Scarf win some? Is the better question. If he didn't, let's have a look if Sammy Scarf ever beat anyone, man. I just can't imagine. You know how Fury is sticking his hand out, especially Chisora too. When he fought Chisora, would the old school man just sit there, or is Fury that good and any old school man would have to sit there and just get jabbed up? I don't know. I'd have to see it. And I wouldn't be shocked if Fury got whooped in all them ones, honestly. He's quite tall though, only 6'7". That was big for even Lennox was 6'4". 6'7" is big. It does add a layer of complexity. But yeah, we'll never know these things, but I'm going with Fury to be level fighter. So Itauma, and then you got Dubois here obviously as well. Dubois, he's a B- or a C. Yeah. When it's all said and done, he's probably a C actually, considering his mind state and his technique. If he wasn't powerful, it'd be a D, wouldn't he? It's because he's powerful, and if he does hit you, he might win. That's what makes him good. Technically, you wouldn't write home about him. His edge, you wouldn't write home about him. So the point is, Itauma, he's too quick. Yeah? And all these other slow heavyweights, including Chisora, Usyk's edge is cardio, and that's my only, I think I mentioned it earlier, but that's the only reason I hum and I ha about Itauma versus Usyk. If I knew Itauma could fight and not fall apart for 12, I'd be going with him all day and night right now. Yeah. But Usyk's edge right now is cardio and the speed of feet and hand speed. Okay? He wouldn't be, at least for the first 6 rounds, And even to be fair, Fury, who isn't that quick. I thought Fury, particularly in the first fight when he came in lighter, for the first 6 rounds, I'd say Fury looked a bit quicker than Usyk. Not with the feet, but his hands. When he did throw his hands, he'd whip shots in. But I could see what he was doing. It wasn't like, whoa, Fury's quick. So Fury was out. The problem is, the cardio. Fury ran out of gas kind of thing in both fights. But Itauma was 20. Fury's renowned. He's just lazy, man. Fury's lazy. Got a big belly on him. He's not athletic. He's carrying 20, 30 pounds of loose skin. If he can compete with Usyk, a 20-year-old guy who's lightning fast, his youth will get him through, I believe. Yeah, even though fast twitch dudes normally, they run out of gas quickly. When you're 20, if anyone can pull it off and just be twitching throughout the fight, it's going to be Itauma. He will, and the thing about him, he doesn't wait. It's not like he comes. Mike Tyson will get tired. Why? Mike Tyson is renowned to be explosive. Mike Tyson will get tired because he's like a bull in a china shop. He's literally, the bell goes and he's on 100, he's redlining. So inevitably he's going to run out of gas at some point, which is what normally happened. Mike would be good for 6 rounds, and the last 6 he's kind of got one big shot and he'll fall in and clinch. Yeah, that was Mike in a nutshell. Itauma, on the other hand, he don't come out. Even if you watch Dillian Whyte fight, he doesn't come out and he's, I'm going to get your hand and put my hands on you. He's boxing. You'd say Itauma was a boxer-puncher. You wouldn't say he's a pressure fighter or he's coming to do you, you know what I mean? He's proper trying to lay it on thick regardless of what's going on. Mike Tyson would be redlining regardless of what's going on. Itauma, he should be able to pace himself because he's not a bull in a china shop. He's not just trying to hit you hard no matter what's going on. He is thinking about his work, which should enable him, particularly when he's in there with someone who's also thinking. It could actually play in Itauma's strength. Why? It will give Itauma time to think a bit more. Yeah? The argument is, well, actually, if Usyk came out on the front foot, yeah, for me, Itauma don't win this fight. Itauma's got to be, he's got to be the one who's looking dangerous. If Itauma starts getting backed up, he's going to lose. Like the rest of these cats, to be fair. If Usyk, you can't, Itauma's got to be in the middle of the ring. He's got to fight there and or put Usyk in trouble. That's what he's got to do. Because we haven't seen Itauma do no back foot fighting, and we're unlikely to see that, to be quite frank. Unless he was to fight someone like, I don't know, Caballero or I don't see who else would. Usyk, he likes to do a little bit of the front foot now, middle of the ring, and make a clown out of you. That's what he did with Fury. Billy, I leave you alone, I like it, and you can smash type shit, right? So, I'm done with talking about these hypotheticals anyway. At the end of the day, I've heard some of the Usyk homosexuals, he's earned the right now not to fight him. Listen, man. Usyk, if Usyk retires, which I've got a video about that coming tomorrow, but if he retires with these belts, or retires at all, he know what he did. I'm telling you now, he ducked Itauma. It's no coincidence. Yeah, it's no coincidence. He had no problem fighting all the rest of the British bums. Oh, yes, and everyone's made a joke out of it, right? Oh, British bums, and yes, the biggest bum of Britain, and Usyk's the UK bum slayer. Now we got one dude who might be able to compete. And he's got lightning. Itauma's got, yeah, you can say we don't know about his power yet. It's not certified yet. That's why I keep talking about the speed. But he could be, Itauma could be 90 plus in power. You can discount all of his current KO wins. Well, I don't know about that. Itauma, Dempsey McKean, Hergovich went life and death with him. And then you got Dillian Whyte. How shot is he? He did look bad against Tete. So you can almost, at this point, we can't give him. I can tell you now, Itauma's 90 plus out of 100 in speed. I can't certify him being 90 plus in power, but he could be. So you got 2 factors there at least. Yeah. And who knows what else then over time it might turn out he's also got wicked cardio. Which if he's the prophet, he'll have them all. He'll have it all. His chin will be made out of cast iron Golovkinite. Yeah? His cardio. Who's got the best cardio in the game? I'm not sure, but yeah, you get the point. He could have it all. Who knows? I've seen him puffing a little bit. So, I did do a video on that. So, maybe you need to see it, man. End of the day. With too much speculation right now. But that in itself, I'll tell you this for free. Yeah? All the people saying, oh, Itauma hasn't earned it. Give it to Joe Parker. Joe Parker has no X factor. Yeah. There's no X factor there. There's nothing. It's going to be a routine Usyk win. I think Parker could do better than Fury and AJ, but it's not like, whoa, this is big stakes here. You got the young prince and the alleged king going at it. Parker, what's Parker gonna do, man? That's the thing here. Parker went life and death with Joe Joyce. Got slow Joyce. Oh, he was sick. All right. If you get boxed up by Joe Joyce, right? If you listen, Joe Parker has improved, but come on, man. You got boxed up by slow Joyce. What else you got? He's done. You went life and death with Zhang as well. You went life and death with Zhang, and you went life and death with Wilder. They're all like, you know what I mean? I'm not really. And you're not okay. You're not Bacoli's head off on 10 hours notice, but the Parker fight's no good. Parker's not going nowhere. He can be cucked for another year, right? I'd get a Itauma in there now myself. Because Tyson Fury told you, man. He's too big. He's too strong. He's too young. He's too quick. The prophet. Yeah? And Tyson Fury knows boxing. And that's what we need to see. And if Usyk don't fight him, you'll all know why. And I've told you why. Because Usyk ain't stupid. Similar to Tyson Fury, maybe even more so. He also understands boxing. And guess what? Yeah? Listen, the reason I get weird, a lot of you man suck Usyk off here, but I get weird vibes about him. And this will be the ultimate proof. If you don't fight Itauma. If Turkey offers it and he turns it down, that'll tell you what you need to know. Is that Usyk was pretty sure he could win the fights. When he was chasing AJ down and when he was chasing Fury down. He liked them fights. If he doesn't, if all of a sudden he don't want to fight no more, yeah, you'll know why he don't want to fight no more. Because you got Caballero there and you got Itauma there. All of a sudden there's legitimate contenders. I never thought. Well, I did, but I was again. Come on, man. AJ and Fury. Come on. Really? And they're both of them really are inexperienced. Fury's. What top level boxing fights has Fury had? None. You have to go back to the Vlad fight, and Vlad shit himself in there. He didn't do anything. What was you know what I mean? What top level boxing fight is Fury had? Never. There's not one. He's never had a top boxing fight. AJ again. What top boxing fight has he had? I think Vlad came in better shape for that. That was probably one, you'd say. So AJ's had one good boxing fight 8 years before. I wouldn't call Andy Ruiz a good boxer either like that. He's got good traits, but I wouldn't call him a complete boxer, an overall boxer. Andy Ruiz is a lazy pressure fighter as such. AJ's fought one top level boxer who's 42 years old. Okay. So we can say, oh, Itauma's not got no experience. I'm not even sure you need experience because AJ and Fury didn't have any. Yeah, and they did alright. What great experience they have of a boxer. And they got in there, did alright. So, in that narrative, I guess Fury and AJ did have rounds though. They knew how to fight. Ish. They knew how more or less to fight 12 rounds. That's the question. And Itauma just needs to get out, man. He should be getting out next month, man. September, end of September. Get out and get a big stiff idiot in there to give you some rounds. And maybe it's worth for Itauma to even try and stretch some of these fights out. And again, you lose. If you could knock him out in a round, innit? End of the day. Because I've heard fighters say that before. I think Huey Fury used to say that, or Tyson Fury did. Oh yeah, they wouldn't knock the guy out because they can't punch, but then they'd say, "Oh, I wanted to get some rounds." Huey's getting his man strength, so he needs some more rounds, kind of thing. You know what I mean? But that's the thinking about it now. That's a bad look. I don't want to hear Itauma do a 10-round stinker and then say, oh, I was getting my rounds in. So yeah, I'd prefer him to keep knocking people out and around, because you are, as long as you're conditioning yourself in the gym, you could theoretically be prepared for a 12-round fight from just gym training. If you had a 12-rounder 6 months before, you could hardwire the lessons of a 12-rounder into a fighter without them actually having experienced it, albeit, or given you can train 12 rounds in sparring. It's not exactly the same, but you should be able to discipline yourself. If you're really thinking about your craft, the characteristics that enable someone to do 12 rounds would be things like finding places to rest, not blowing your load, over-engaging in any given round. That is one thing Usyk does well. Even when he's got a fighter rocked, he don't lay it on thick. Yeah? Now there's got to be a balance there. I think Usyk's too conservative. But a young 20-year-old Itauma, he should be able to get a second wind. We saw someone who, in a similar fashion, what was his name? Anthony Yardy, when he fought Kovalev. Somewhat similar circumstances. Kovalev was a little bit washed up. Andre Ward had punched his guts out. But Yard lays it on thick, doesn't get it done, and then he's puffing. Empty the tank occurred. But it's possible. Could Itauma be doing that? No, you know what? Again, I think Itauma. I did an expose video. Oh, Itauma looked a bit tired. Oh, Itauma couldn't knock out these two bums. He fought two cats. And the fights went 6 rounds. So he's already got 6 rounds under his belt. Although the level of competition wasn't there. But in them fights, he was quite composed. Yeah? He wasn't headhunting, and he'd still be stepping in and stepping off. He wasn't just trying to brute force his way. Arguably he was a bit too technical. Given you're in there with a man who's not punching back, the argument I was making at the time last week was, oh, Itauma couldn't finish these bums. He should have been more aggressive. So that's potentially a good sign. Yeah? Even in there with a bum, he still paced himself. What was that cat we watched? Delicious Ori. He fought someone. He comes out, just slap into the head, and really scrappy. That's an example of how you don't do it. And so Itauma was showing discipline, even in fights where he could be a bit more risk-taking. Oops. Now, of course, it's a completely different story when you've got Usyk hopping around in front of you. That has to be said. Usyk is an A fighter. So we can sit here and say, oh, Usyk's only fought B-level fighters. Well, Itauma's never even fought a B-level fighter. Never mind an A-level fighter. The best Itauma's fought is a D- fighter, I believe. A Dempsey McKenna or a Dillian Whyte, at best, you can call them a D-. Yeah, that's the best you can say for them. So, but that's what the sport's about. Yeah, that is what the sport's about. So I want to see it. And Fury believes it will happen. I believe it will happen. So let it be. Itauma wants it to happen. He believes in himself. And that's one of the most important things, as I've mentioned, that's been missing from this last no-good generation. The belief they can win. Not even just the belief, but the determination to win. The refusing to lose. That can only be shown once we see Itauma go through something. But he could have it now. The fact he hasn't shown it doesn't mean it's not there. He could get in there and really want it. Which would be my base case at this point. You have to give everyone at least the benefit of the doubt off the rip. Yeah, not everyone has to be a punk. So I'm going to assume he's not a punk. And he seems, when he knocks these guys out, yeah, he's not like jumping around and acting a fool. And yeah, he seems quite based, man, composed. Yeah, everyone expected this, so I haven't got no glory from it. He wants this big antelope on his dining room wall. Yeah, the Usyk antelope. He wants that head on his, whatever you call it. Yeah, that's what he wants on his wall. Yeah, he's yearning for it. Now we'll find out after 6 rounds how much he wants it. Right? That's when we'll find out who wants what. Because we can all want things when we've just knocked out some old dude with a bum leg, bummilian shite, right? We can all want something then. It's a bit different when you're puffing after 6 potentially. Yeah, and you're proper hanging. Then we'll find out who wants what. Because that's a different story. I could want to fight Usyk right now, sitting here on my computer. It's a different story when you're in there and you're puffing half to death and you're thinking, oh my god, which is possible. Not my base. My base case is Itauma goes in there and like the rest of them, Usyk's a bit spooked by the speed. For the first time, he's having to deal with quick feet and quick hands. Southpaw versus southpaw, which will make the jab much more of a factor in my opinion. And I think Itauma's jab, particularly early, jab for jab, I think Usyk's going to be getting popped in the head, and or he's going to be double thinking, double guessing himself. To some extent, a bit like the Tony Bellew fight, if I'm honest. With Tony Bellew, he was thinking a little bit. Usyk was thinking a little bit in there, and that wasn't because Tony Bellew's really quick. Tony Bellew did have Usyk thinking. Usyk wasn't having his way with him until he was. That's because Tony Bellew got knackered. Anyway, we're going around in circles here. Let's get the fight on, man. Yeah. And I have gained more respect for Ben Davison. I think he got a bit carried. Maybe AJ is not smart enough to implement it, but whatever you say about him, I think he tries hard, Ben does. Obviously. I don't think he's taking the piss as such. I think he believes the shit he says. Does that make sense? I think he believes what he's saying. And I think Itauma could be the guy. Well, so far, like often, I think Customato, for example. Customato was always looking for this one fighter to fit his thing, and Mike Tyson came along. So whilst Ben may seem a bit mystical, and that mysticalness hasn't worked for Fabio Wardley, in my opinion. Hasn't really worked for AJ. Sometimes there's that one fighter who it just clicks with. Yeah? I'm pretty sure historically there's been these occasions where well, look at the old Brendan Ingle style. You had Naz, didn't you? But only certain cats could fight that style. Johnny Nelson, Naz, there was a few, that other cat. Bomber Graham. Not everyone's going to be able to fight like that. So you have these trainers sometimes, and once a blue moon, a given trainer and a given athlete, it clicks and they all just kind of get what's going on. Yeah? That doesn't mean that Ben Davison's going to turn everyone into Muhammad I am the Prophet. Bruce Lee. Yeah? Muhammad I am the Prophet to Bruce Lee, light-skinned. You understand? But it could be. And I'm here for it. And so far they're thriving. And we have to give them credit. Because, listen, I put a $5 on Dillian Whyte end of the day. So I wouldn't have wasted a $5. It's not a massive amount of money, but I wouldn't have done that if I knew Itauma was going to knock his head off. Right? But end of the day. Anyway, let's see what happens. Let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, like the bell 100%. There's no doubt about this. Some people stop it. Bosh.